We are going to revisit the issue of Cohen, Sarah Cohen. In my YouTube, in this YouTube channel 2 years ago, I had said that should Cohen murderer never be found, then we should blame the then DCI, Mr. Kinoti. Basic investigation says that the investigation officer should investigate the case with an open mind. In many high profile cases, Kinoti used to make a decision and then he would direct the investigation officers towards his theory. A detective said that Kinoti may have coerced the investigation officer to implicate a judge of the Court of Appeal in the murder. The judge was previously, before he became a judge, he was Mrs. Cohen's lawyer. So Kinoti was using that opportunity to implicate the justice so as to remove him. I want to say this before I name the name of the detective, is that in Kenya, I don't know about other countries, there is usually power struggle between different arms of the government. Now, for Kinoti wanting the judge of the Court of Appeal to be removed, just removed one of them, because if it is discovered that the judge is interfering with the case, then the judge would be removed. And Kinoti would have sent a message to all subsequent judges of the High Court, of the Court of Appeal, or even the Supreme Court. He would have sent a secret message that he can deal with them in any way. So when he takes any case to the courts, the judicial officers would be intimidated by the Directorate of Criminal Investigation. The detective who said so, he was called John Gishomo. John Gishomo is the one who said so. And he even said that there were 35, said that there were 35 loopholes which were not investigated then. Could the current investigations have covered the same 35 loopholes? I hope so. Most likely, Tob Cohen acquired whatever he had wrongly, money from Philip Company. Philips is a company that produces bulbs. If I am not wrong, it is the same company that used to produce radios. When I was growing up, radio that Philips used to be so good. He decided to invest in Kenya so as not to have problems in his home country. In some countries, their jurisdiction extends outside their borders. For example, if me and you, we cross over Namanga into Tanzania, Malaba into Uganda, Moyale into Ethiopia, or even Mandera into Somalia, and I slap you. In Kenyan constitution, jurisdiction is that the thing happened outside the Kenyan soil, so you'll find that the Kenya police cannot arrest you, the Kenya courts cannot prosecute, you cannot be prosecuted before the Kenyan courts. But in some other jurisdictions, when two of their citizens have a problem outside the country and the judicial system of the host country do not take action against them, then when they go back home, the cases could be taken over. So this man must have looted from Philips, whatever, and he invested in Kenya. When he invested in Kenya, government officials used to go to visit him with an aim. Government officials used to visit him with an aim of getting something. He was advised to marry a local Kenyan lady because of his properties. He was I've already recorded this in another video, but I find that referring you to it, I can only talk of it in brief in here. So you can see the Kenyan culture is different, because if you marry, for example, a Luo lady, she keeps a safe distance between you and your work and your property. But a Kikuyu lady will ring fence your property. So he was advised to marry a Kikuyu lady. But then, who was the nearest lady to him? It was his secretary. It was his secretary strokes receptionist. I don't know the difference. So she started accumulating properties. She started accumulating properties from him. There is a case where she bought land and was constructing building somewhere in Mrima. He even clandestinely visited the place to see for his own eyes. When they were married, she had a daughter. By law, Cohen as the stepfather to Cohen as a stepfather to the girl was to include her in his will. But Sarah was very clever, think that it is easier to get among Kikuyus than other tribes. She was very clever. She went ahead and even made sure that Cohen adopted the girl. What is the difference here? The daughter was hers. So, in case of any divorce between her and Cohen, anything that the daughter, anything that she will inherit and anything that the daughter will inherit goes with that. She came with the daughter, she'll go with the daughter. So if Cohen adopts the daughter, then it means that the daughter has two avenues to reach into Cohen's wallet. She had a direct route as an adopted daughter, and also she had another route as a stepdaughter. I think that one you understand. So this was what young people say a double bet. A double bet. Then again, his disclosure. He again disclosed to his sister uh, in his home area. He disclosed to his sister everything that was happening, and he even said that he was going to make a will where he's going to exclude Sarah. Now, this is the place where there are two cultures. And when people like me, I was brought up in two cultures. So when I'm in Karatina, I adapt the Kikuyu tradition. When I am in Webuye, I adapt the Bukusu tradition. It is a bit challenging that Cohen was so much used to his home country's way of life, and even the sister, that he decided to disclose to the sister that the harassment that he was getting from Sarah was making him that he's going to make a will where he's going to exclude her. He's going to exclude her from his will. Now, in a developed country, that one is a straightforward case. But in Kenya, if you exclude somebody from your will, I mean, in Kenya, when you make a will, a beneficiary is not supposed to, and this is what I want to tell people in Kenya. If you know so and so has made a will and you are a beneficiary, what you should do is struggle as much as possible. Let nobody have an idea that you know that you are included in the will. Because in the Kenyan law, when a beneficiary knows the content of a will, that will becomes null and void, unless and until all beneficiaries are told. You see, if you have something and you tell people, if I die, I want it to be given that, and then you tell everybody, and everybody accepts or everybody knows. But if one or a few or some of the beneficiaries know, and not all of them, then in Kenyan law, that one, it makes the will, what do you call, unagreed. Another thing that makes the will stale in the Kenyan sense is that sometimes when you exclude somebody, somebody from your will, there has to be very strong, compelling reasons to make the judicial officer be convinced as to why you you excluded that person. If there's, for example, maybe your child used to abuse you out of people are seeing and whatever. Maybe when you retired, your child never assisted you in any way or whatever. Such things, if they are brought to the attention of the judicial officers, then it will be agreed that there is compelling reason. Yeah, that is the word I was looking for. There has to be compelling reasons as to why you are excluded, or you have more shares or lesser shares than ordinarily or reasonable for you to be in that will. But in absence of any compelling fact, then that will can uh, be, disregarded. I understand that after the inquest, people may be wondering why was the inquest, whatever. It shows that during the murder trial, Sarah was found. There were so many loopholes, and one of the ways of investigating things and assisting the for justice to be done in Kenya, they have a murder inquest, so that after the murder inquest, then things can be that. So after the inquest, it was revealed that Sarah is the one who most probably killed her husband. And as I've said, there's a number of loopholes that a detective had even said that were there during that time. And I do not know the contents of the current case the way it is, but it becomes even harder and harder to find the killer of Cohen. But if at the end of the day, Cohen's killer is never found, then the person to be blamed is none other than Mr. Kinoti, who was the director of criminal investigation during those days, because he really messed up with the case. And it is funny, if I can recall, that the body was found in a septic tank, and that septic tank had been repaired during the time when DCI detectives were in the compound, and they had blocked her from accessing to the compound. Now the question I'm asking myself, how comes that the septic tank was repaired without the discovery of the body during that time? It becomes a bit hard, but we have to agree. It is also unfortunate that he's a foreigner. In Kenya, being a foreigner, sometimes you just die without having an MP to follow you. You remember the case of Father Kaiser? Father Kaiser just went that way, and the American embassy or the American government saw that if they pursued the case, they would have a bad relationship with the Kenya. And this is just one individual. After all, he was even a bachelor. That is why they sometimes when you are a foreigner, it becomes a bit of a challenge to follow your case. You may just die that way. Goodbye.